What's going on, guys? It's your boy CMB. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and let's get into this one really quickly. Now, guys, we are talking about Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G3. The fallout still continues, guys. If you didn't know, Canelo Alvarez was victorious in the fight this past weekend, winning a unanimous decision, retaining all of his super middleweight titles. So he remains the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. Now, guys, the pay-per-view numbers are in, and it's not looking so good for Canelo Alvarez and the DAZN network. So I got the article pulled up here, sportspromedia.com. I'm going to read over some of it to you guys and catch you guys up to speed on what's going on here. Now, it says, the report says Canelo Golovkin 3 disappoints with up to 575K pay-per-view buys. Now, if you guys didn't know, the price of the pay-per-view for subscribers was $64.99. And I think if you weren't a subscriber, I think it was like $84, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a little bit more. Now, the first two fights, of course, the first fight pulled in 1.3 million buys, and I think the second one pulled in 1.1 million buys, and both of those fights were on HBO. So it says here, the boxing world fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin generated between 555,000 and 575,000 pay-per-view buys in the U.S., according to journalist Dan Raphael. Okay, it says here, the numbers also cover those who bought the fight for the one-off price of $84.99 on traditional linear television and satellite services, as well as digital via payperview.com. So yes, the fight was $84.99. So I was correct on that. Of the overall total, about 200,000 were reportedly from non-DAZN subscribers. Raphael added that the event had a chance to hit 600,000 buys. Even if it does reach that mark, the third fight in the Canelo Golovkin trilogy is set to be deemed a disappointment for DAZN. The company reportedly needed far more than 600,000 buys to break even, considering the reported combined US 75 million it had guaranteed for the two boxers. Additionally, despite much hype after the pair's first two engrossing encounters, their latest bout failed to reach the heights of several of Canelo's previous fights. Excuse me, guys. The Mexican super middleweight unification showdown with Caleb Plant in November 2021, which was put on by Premier Boxing Champions and produced and distributed by Showtime's pay-per-view, managed approximately 800,000 buys. Canelo Golovkin 3 was also weighed down on the pair's initial fights together. The first on the 16th of September 2017 generated 1.3. We talked about that. The second one generated 1.1 million buys. It also brought in more TV revenue than the first fight due to a higher pay-per-view price. All right, guys. So as you hear, there's kind of a disappointment for DAZN, and I think it's a few contributing factors here. I would say that the fight being on an app, kind of puts them at a disadvantage. I know you could buy it on pay-per-view, but a lot of people in the U.S. aren't really familiar with DAZN, so that's kind of a handicap there. Second, I think that they waited too long in this fight. It's been 4 years in the making. Triple G, way past his prime, while you have Canelo Alvarez in the prime of his career. I think that had a lot to do with it as well. Another factor, I think, would be the talks of Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. versus Terrence "Bud" Crawford. I think that's been stealing a lot of the shine from this fight, and it really showed. And I think another contributing factor would be that Canelo Alvarez took a loss to Dimitri Bivol. I think that was a huge factor in how well this fight played out. It was a bad loss, a one-sided loss, so I think that really had a lot to do with it as well. and the fact that, you know, some of Canelo Alvarez fans, they want him to face better competition, guys more closer to his age, like David Benavidez, Jamel Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, and, you know, possibly another fight with Dimitri Bivol. I think that also weighed in as well. So bad news for DAZN. I don't know where they go from here, losing so much money on a fight that they've been trying to put together for quite some time now. It's just going to have to be Canelo, you know, giving the fights, fighting fighters that people want to see him fight. Now, I don't know what this means for DAZN. Putting on that fight with Bivol, that would be, I think that would put butts back in the seats. I think they can make their money back from that. We'll just have to wait and see. But not so good news for Canelo Alvarez. It seems like his star power is starting to wane a little bit. But I think he could get back in the driver's seat if he, you know, produces these fights that people want to see. You know, people want to see him and David Benavidez. He is the champion at 168. He's the undisputed champion. David Benavidez is the WBC mandatory. So why not put that fight on? I think that fight makes perfect sense if he doesn't rematch Bivol. You guys know Bivol has the his mandatory with Zordo Ramirez, so we'll have to wait and see if he can, you know, beat Zordo, which Canelo Alvarez says he doesn't want to face Mexicans, so that's out of the question. I think Canelo Alvarez puts himself in positions where he won't shine when it comes to stuff like this. So he's going to have to get out there and fight some of these guys that, you know, the fans want to see him fight, or I think his star power is going to continue to wane. And, you know, it's kind of disappointing because I think Canelo Alvarez is a good fighter. He just needs a step up, I think, in some competition as of late. Now, like I said, he did fight Bivol. That was definitely a step up in competition. And, you know, he paid the price for that one. You have to continue to work on your game. You have to continue to improve. Fighting the best out there makes you sharper, makes you look at the holes in your game, makes you keep doing your homework. You know, you have to keep doing that. If you want to be the best, if you want to be the top of the food chain, you know, you're going to have to make certain sacrifices. You're going to have to do certain things that people aren't willing to do. And, you know, it comes with the territory. So we'll see where Canelo Alvarez goes from here. You guys know he is having surgery on his wrist, cartilage tear. He may take some time off, so he has a lot of time to think and make plans and see what his next move is going to be. So you guys tell me what you think about the pay-per-view numbers here. Why do you think the pay-per-view numbers were so bad? You guys let me know in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.